Hi guys, this is Miss Coker. I'm going to do our next math lesson, which is lesson 11. And we're going to start with this right here, which is 1/2 of a circle. Now, do I have a whole circle? No, I do not. What do I need to complete my circle? I need another half. So, I completed the whole. So, 1/2 and 1/2 makes a whole. 2 halves make a whole. Now, I'm going to do a rectangle. Okay, this is part of a rectangle. How many thirds do you see all together? I see 2/3. I have 1/3 here and 1/3 here. Now, what do I need to complete that whole triangle? Or sorry, rectangle. I need 1 more third. Yes. So I'm completing the whole here. 1/3 and 1/3 and 1/3 makes a whole. 3/3, 1, 2, 3, 3/3 make a whole. Okay. All right, here I have part of a square. All right, look at the parts, look at the square, the part I have. I have 1/4. So how many more fourths do I need to make a full square? If I have 1/4, remember, 1/4 would also look like this in a fraction. And when we talked about the fraction, the denominator is the part of the fraction that tells you how many parts you have that make up a whole. This, the numerator, tells you how many is affected. So we have 4 parts that make up a whole. I only see 1 here. So how many parts do we need? We need 3 more parts to make up a whole. Okay, so that completes the whole. 4/4 makes up a whole. Okay, now I'm going to put some circles up here. Okay, now so these are parts of a circle. Okay, find the whole. Which one, which of these is a whole? If you said the thirds are a whole, you are right. I have 3/3, 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3. I have 3/3 that make up a whole. Now, I only have 2/4. That's only half of that circle. So I need to bring in the other half to make up a whole. And then I have 1/2. I need the other half to make up a whole as well. Okay? So that is what we've looked at today as far as thirds, halves, fourths that make up wholes. So your problem, or your sheet, your homework sheet that you have, is similar to our problem set sheet. Okay, let's look at the problem set sheet for today. And it's, again, going to be very similar to what you're going to be doing on your sheet that you have in your packet. So for parts A and C and E, you're going to identify the shaded area. Okay? So you have how many parts? You have 2 halves, but how many parts is shaded? 1/2. So you just put a 1. Okay? What about over here? You have 2 parts, 2 halves, and how many are shaded? 1, 2. You have 2 halves that are shaded. Now it says circle the shape above that has a shaded area that shows 1 whole. Which of these is shaded and all of it's shaded? All of it, one hole is shaded. Yes, the 2 halves are shaded. Okay, here you have 3 parts that make up a hole and 1 part that is shaded, so it's 1/3. Okay, on the next one, you have 3 parts that make up a hole. You have 2 parts that are shaded, so that's 2/3. Here you have 3 parts that make up a hole, and you have 3 that are shaded, so that is 3/3. It says circle the shape above that has a shaded area that shows 1 hole. So which one is showing all the shaded areas shaded, and that makes it 1 hole? Yes, 3/3 makes up a hole. Down here you have 4 parts that make up a hole. You have 1/4 that is shaded. You have 4 parts that make up a hole, and 1, 2, 3, 4 parts, 4/4 is shaded. Again, you have 4 parts that make up a hole. You have 1, 2 parts, 2/4 that are shaded. And here you have 4 parts that make up a hole. You have 1, 2, 3 parts, 3/4 that make up a hole. And it says circle the shape above that has a shaded area that shows 1 hole. So which one has the whole thing shaded? Yes, 4/4. Okay. This one asks, what fraction do you need to color so that the whole, 1 hole is shaded? So you have here 3 parts that make up a hole. 1 part is shaded, but how many parts are you going to have to shade to make up a hole? 1, 2. Now all of it is shaded. You have 3 parts that make up a hole, and you had to shade, or I had to shade 2 parts. So 2/3 still needs to be shaded. Okay, on this one you have 2 parts that make up a hole. You have 1 that is shaded. You're going to have to shade 1 yourself. Again, you have 2 parts that make up a hole. That's your denominator. You had to shade 1 part, so that is 1/2. Okay, 4 parts that make up a hole on C. 2 parts are shaded. I'm shading in 1. I'm shading in another. You still have 4 parts that make up a hole, and I had to shade in 2, so that's 2/4. On D, you have 3 parts that make up a hole, and you have to shade in 1 of them to make up a hole, to make the rest of a hole, because you already have 2 parts that are shaded. You had to shade in 1, so 1/3 is what you had to do to finish the hole. Again, you have 2 parts that make up a hole on E. Okay, to make this hole, I have to shade in 1 more part, so 1/2. And then F, 4 parts make up a hole. 3 parts are shaded. I'm having to shade in this last one, and I only shade in 1, so 1/4 had to be shaded. Again, to make these whole, how many did you have to shade in to make them whole? Then it tells you down at the bottom, complete the drawing to show 1 hole. This is 1/2, draw 1 hole. Okay, so this is 1/2 of a drawing. I need to draw the other part of it. Now it is a hole. Okay, because this was only 1/2, so let's just shade in this part because this is the part they gave us. I had to add the other part to draw a hole. This says this is 1/3. Okay, this is only 1/3 of what needs to be drawn. So I need to draw another one that's 2/3, and then another one that makes it 3/3. Okay, this is 1/4. This is the part they drew. Now I need to draw more to make 4/4, or 1 hole. 2/4, 3/4, 4/4 makes it 1 hole. All right, so your homework today looks very similar to what we just did. You're going to be deciding how many, identify the shaded area, and then circling which one is the hole. You're going to be figuring out, you're going to have to figure out how much more needs to be colored to have a hole. Again, this one has not been shaded, but you have 2 parts to make up a hole, and you shaded in 1 part yourself. Down here, what we just did, you have to add to your drawing. If this is 1/2, you need to draw more to make the hole. Okay, if this is 1/3, you got to draw more to make the hole, and so on. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Feel free to look at the Embark video or the Google Slides from Embark. But you are always welcome to contact me, and I will explain it a little bit better if I need to. Hope you're staying safe. Hope you're staying well. I miss and love every one of you, and I hope to see you soon.